Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Get early access to all of our interviews, including the monthly Chichester chats with writer and comic book legend DG Chichester, new episodes of classic Capes and Lunatics shows, including The Quantum Zone, This, That, or the Third, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes or go to patreon.com/capesandlunatics. Hope to see you there.
Fine, I have to be the sad clown.
Doesn't Phil know all about that?
Hey, how dare you? All right, kids, welcome back. You know what? You know what time it is. She's a little bit salty.
He's a whole lot of petty, and together we're the Salty and Petty Podcast. Forget about it.
Hey. That's right. I am Phil, and that menace to society is.
They know who I am. Phil Hellfire.
You know who
Go to YouTube. Read the name if you don't. We're over 50 episodes in. It's fine. It's fine.
It's always someone's first, Lil.
Well, then binge it. You gotta catch up on the lore. You can't just jump in.
Come on, Lil.
Episode 1.
Someone who takes young men in their 20s, you gotta, it's always somebody's first. You're always someone's first.
Unless you're intentionally celibate, and I'm just saying, if you're 25,
it's true.
Still, and then, you know what? Honestly, Gen Alpha's a bunch of prudes. That's why we don't have rated R movies with nudity anymore. So, you might be right.
See? Oh, I forgot. She's getting old now. Now she's moving up to 25-year-olds.
Yeah. Those 21 and up clubs are trash. 25 and up is way better.
What do you want to do?
You don't want to know things I want to do.
That's true.
25 years of
yeah.
Sopranos?
1999 was 25 years ago. Yes.
Cries.
I know.
It's crazy.
It's been so long. I started doing a rewatch of this. I forgot about it.
Yeah, I'm in like season 1.
Oh, I'm like I started season 3 like a day or two ago. Yeah.
It's it gets weird around season 4, so I've just been kind of like, ooh.
You could tell
I'm also in the middle of an Enterprise rewatch too at the same time, so it's like,
Why do you hate yourself?
Well, when you guys listen to Bullshit My Head, whenever that gets thrown up, you'll see.
Oh my!
I talk about it. Yeah, I'm kind of in the middle of a couple of rewatches, and this one was just like, yeah, it's the 25th anniversary, but I've seen that show so much. Well,
it's been a long road getting from there to here.
I'm pretty sure it's probably almost anybody's dad, if you're of a certain age's favorite show. So it's like cut off the freaking Western movies, and then turn on the Sopranos. Go into his man cave and close the door. I don't know. I know this has to be relatable content to somebody.
Smoke a cigar.
No smoking in the house, Phil. I'm a millennial, not a Gen X. My parents cared about me. No offense.
Don't look at me. My parents didn't smoke.
Yeah. The 90s is when we stopped letting people smoke in Denny's, and closed rooms and all that.
I know. Dr. Melfi yelled at that lady in the restaurant. I know. Oh my Lord. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's so weird, doing the rewatch straight through. Because I think you could tell there was more money because
yeah. Even for HBO, that first season was like...
Uh-huh.
And then when you get to the third, because, this is literally ushered in the second age of, the second golden age of television. It won so many awards, 21 primetime Emmys, 5 Golden Globes. I can't remember how many Peabody Awards it won in the first 2 seasons, but it was crazy. This struck a chord with people for some reason. And I was kind of worried about the world at that point. The fact that The Sopranos was kind of striking a chord with a lot of people. And then, like, of course, they're like, that struck controversy too because it's like, oh, Italian, this is a bad Italian American stereotype. Like, babes, I've been to Jersey.
Oh, you mean that hive of scum and villainy?
You don't see no shade. I'm not talking orange. I'm not talking Hoboken. No, come on. Jersey, okay.
But yeah, no, you could tell like the budget went up because I think it was like I think it was season 3. Yeah, all of a sudden
Yeah.
the boobs are much more perkier and faker. Yes.
Well, it's not even that. It's that they have the money now, and they realize they're on TV. It's this big hit, and you get your little nips and tucks in between season 2. You get better boob tape. You get better everything. You get better support garments. It's just the
Well,
way that the world works. But then you kind of hit that slump when depending on, well, for cable, I'd say it's like season 5, but for like network TV, when it hits season 7, that's when it's like, we got to start renegotiating contracts and people leave and new people come in to cut down the budget. So, we were almost there. We made it to 6 seasons. I think it's like, 86 episodes or something like that.
something like that. Yeah, I know it is
And there
6.
were only like 13. There were like 13 episodes in a season. Like, this is when cable was reasonable, and you could count on it coming back the next year. So it wasn't that bad to have 13 episodes. But that
Yeah.
final season did get split into 2 seasons for 21 episodes. So technically, we'd have 7 seasons. I'm just trying to be technical, because
Yeah.
like they split it into 12. And then that was in like March of 2006, and then they came back with the last 9 in like April of 2007. And I just, oh god, 2000, which was like probably right on time, because like, what was that, like the writer's strike was, yeah, they got lucky with that one.
Well, again, I mean, yeah, this was HBO's big thing at the time. I mean, this was Game of Thrones before Game of Thrones.
Yeah, like, but this seriously, like, HBO was on a roll when Sopranos came out. Like,
Oh yeah.
wow. And I'm sorry, this is like the era of like Mad Men, Breaking Bad, like just bad guys and people not being unapologetic about liking bad guys as the main lead. Like that was the thing.
Oh yeah.
So it's just really interesting looking back at that time in the TV landscape, and you just go,
And pretty much around the turn of the century. Yeah.
well, yeah.
So I'm telling you, I've said it before. There was some kind of radical shift around the turn of the century where, yeah, like,
It's called 9/11, babes.
well, even before that. I mean, look, Sopranos premiered like what 2 years before 9/11. I mean, even like before 9/11, like stuff was getting dark for some reason.
Well, it's the 90s, man. Everybody had to switch from freaking, cocaine to other things.
Seinfeld was over and the Sopranos began.
Well, I think Seinfeld actually set the tone for something like this when you think about it, because that was a quote unquote sitcom, like, where they did some messed up stuff. Like, the end of that series is messed up.
Well, yeah.
And then we go on a couple of years later to have Curb Your Enthusiasm on where HBO, and that show is, I mean, it's funny, but it's like black humor funny sometimes. So I don't know, like, yeah. The 90s really messed America up pretty bad, honestly. It was like all the school shootings, I think, maybe.
Oh, yeah. Boy, I'm glad
I
we
mean,
solved
not
that
nearly
problem.
as many as now. Like, South Park made an episode about it. That's how it is now. But
Mm.
yeah, like the 90s really did a number on America. I mean, I think we can all blame Willie, Slick Willie, getting his dick sucked in office. Honestly, that was the
Wow.
shift. If you want to be honest, I think that was really the shift, and the moral core of America, quote unquote, just goes downhill from there.
Well, when you think, yeah, I mean, I could see that because it's like,
Monica Lewinsky splashed across the pages for like, I don't know, 2-3 years.
I mean, yeah, before that, they still tried to pretend the presidents, any of the presidents weren't bad guys and, weren't up to anything. And then, yeah, once that Clinton thing hit, it was just all bets were off. Should we do one of those episodes coming up soon? It's like, weird stuff that happened in the 90s.
We've been threatening it, but like, yeah, we could just pick a year. Honestly, like, anytime after, like, I think 1993, you can pick something really bad happened. Like, and that's crazy too, because I think about how long the news cycle was back then. Like our news cycle's like 30 minutes and then forget about it.
Well, there's so I mean, again, there's so many media outlets now and so much going on, and yeah, I mean, and once you go worldwide, I mean, yeah, you're lucky.
Well, not really. Let's not get carried away. I mean, there's like 90, literally, I'm not being funny, literally 90 wars, and nobody cares about Gaza anymore. Nobody cares about the Ukraine. So I don't know about worldwide
It
news.
depends where you look, but yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I didn't even really like The Sopranos at first. Not gonna lie, it was kind of like it's like what?
Well,
They're putting this on TV?
well,
Like
yeah,
I know
yeah.
this had to piss a lot of like real mobsters off. I'm talking like you have to remember this is the time when like literally John Gotti was walking around New York in his house robe pretending to be crazy to get off of his cases and things like that. And they
Mm,
even deal with this actually a little bit of that in The Sopranos. So like if you are a night, I feel like if you're a '90s kid, maybe even Gen X to an effect, like Godfather and Scarface for some reason just had like a really big resurgence, and like everybody and their mother, you literally had posters in their room or their house or whatever,
oh
and
yeah,
like so and like
Goodfellas,
that
yeah.
yeah, Goodfella, all of that, right? The
Hmm.
wise guy culture. So like this, it was like so that had like dipped down for a minute. And I think why I didn't like it is because I was like I really liked that movie Donnie Brasco with Johnny Depp.
Hmm.
And then CBS said that they're gonna do a TV show. And it had I had that guy, I can't remember his name now. But he played Krychek in the X Files. That guy. That was who
Oh,
was
okay.
playing Donnie Bosco. And it was like okay, like the undercover angle. I like. I feel like that's a little bit. That's a little better. You know what I mean? Than just being deep in it, because it's like, well, how? I mean, even if it's HBO Max, they can't really tell the truth, right? And yeah, this also. Oh my god! Like, and now that I'm thinking about it, like all the stuff that happened, like Nikki the Bull Gravano turning coat, all that stuff that was like in the news. Like, I was just so surprised. Like, I was like, I don't know how they're gonna do this,
And I
and
mean,
they didn't really actually deal with it. Like I thought. Like
yeah.
it's
And did they try?
honestly, you could put The Sopranos on NBC now, and nobody would bat an eyelash. You
You
know
know
what I
what?
mean?
You know what? A few years ago, oh god, it might have been like 5 or more years ago. Like I know for a while they were. I think they were playing it on A&E, like edited. I
Really?
think it was A&E. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
There,
wouldn't doubt if it was any.
there was a short window there. Yeah, where they were playing them, but it was edited. Yeah, like you didn't see that. You know, they said had to censor out the boobs and they censored some of some of the language. But yeah,
Yeah, like so. Yeah, I thought it was really. I'm like, well, I mean, this is gonna piss a lot of people off, and it's not gonna be very accurate, and it's just gonna be like, like I just had thoughts about it as somebody who like literally like we grew up with all the great, like how are they gonna top all the great wise guy stuff that we already have, basically.
well, again, this was different than
I'm
those
like,
movies.
you're in Scorsese's territory right now.
Yeah.
Come on, David Chase, come on.
Yeah, but where Scorsese got like a couple hours at a time. This was like 13 episodes a year.
Exactly. So
Yeah,
I thought that was that premise would definitely wear thin as well. You know what I mean? It's like he's a bad guy doing bad things to his family, like
yeah.
But
But
then
then
you realize his wife is annoying as hell, and you hate his kids. So who else you gonna root for? I mean, shout out to Big Pussy.
hey, but again, and eventually, yeah, they even get into like his history with his father and stuff, and
Oh yeah, and his mom. Like it
oh
was like poor guy.
yeah, it's like
Talk
yeah.
about a battle axe.
Tell me you're not going to be Tony
Jeez.
Soprano if your mother like it tries to get you killed,
Yeah, it's wild.
Uncle Junior.
Uncle Honestly, Uncle Junior is the most Breaking Bad thing of the show. Honestly,
I know, I know.
it's giving me a little sound. It's giving me a little sound on that
I
side.
love at the end of season one when Christopher's like killing what's his face, the guy who works with Uncle Junior who like killed his friend, and
Yeah.
the guy's crying. He's like, it was Junior, and Christopher's like, yeah, okay, Mr. Magoo, okay,
Oh, but I did absolutely love the theme song. Obviously,
yes,
um, woke up this morning and it's like a specific mix. I can't really think about it, but like Alabama 3, so that's iconic. The title scene. This really set the tone for like HBO and like Showtime and all those guys having like epic opening title scenes. That was so good.
Oh yeah,
And
no.
they actually shot in New Jersey. Like I said, I've been to Jersey. I lived in New York. I bridge and tunnel crowd, know tons of people, right?
Mhm.
And I think that's really neat that they're actually like out there in those like Jersey. Now, don't get me wrong. You don't want to live in the city in Jersey for sure, but the suburbs of Jersey where the people got money, it's nice, real nice. And I like that they kind of like captured that culture. So it's like, Guido culture, we all know Jersey Shore.
That's an
Yeah,
interesting artistic choice.
it is to dive into the Jersey culture of it all. Like they didn't choose the New York because I feel like they couldn't have done it in New York. I feel like something bad would have happened to them if they would have done the New York families.
Yeah.
Period. I really truly do feel like that. So
Mhm.
I think that they had to walk that really fine line. And I just remember everybody in tracks. I think that's probably why I didn't like it. Everybody had those stupid tailored tracksuits. There even was like in my neighborhood, there popped up like one of those, like a real Italian guy making those stupid tracksuits. I was
Oh,
like, what?
the tracksuit mafia.
Exactly. And I'm like, that's really more Russian, but that's not my business. It's not my business.
Hey,
But yeah, so like the first season is rough, but like now in retrospect, as I'm watching, I'm really cherishing it, and it's like really setting the tone and
The doc.
building the culture of the show, and just yeah, it took a while to grow on me, I'm not gonna lie, but once it did, and you really get into it, and you understand what they're trying to do, and honestly, they were just trying to be precious little snowflakes. They're trying to be different to be different. I feel like,
Mhm.
and that's what kind of caught on. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I was gonna say, and wasn't there like I don't know if it was during the shows like Prime and stuff, or like was it immediately? There was like at some point I thought where like James Gandolfini was like trying out for like other roles, and like it was
They told
hard.
him no, yeah.
Yeah, because he was just so good at this Tony Soprano. Everyone just saw him as Tony Soprano.
Oh, I guess we should kind of address the elephant in the room. May he rest in power. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was crazy that he had died so young.
Hmm. Yeah, I know, because that's the thing. That's what I was thinking while I was watching this. I'm like, there's so much, so many shows are like doing reboots and stuff these days. I'm like, they'd be trying
Well,
to be.
they kind of tried. They tested their waters with the Many Saints of Newark back in 2021, which was the movie, and
Yeah.
it starred Michael's son as him as young Tony Soprano,
Oh
and
yeah.
it got a pretty good reception. But like, I just feel like people don't want to reboot. It's like if they tried to if Ray Romano died tomorrow and they tried to do a Everybody Loves Raymond reboot, like
Yeah.
it just couldn't happen. He is that show. There is no reboot without him.
Do you?
Junior's a pussy, so we can't focus anything around
I
him.
know,
If
but
anything, Meadow became the head of the family. If we're gonna be real,
that's what I was gonna say. Do you think they could ever do something like that?
no, because that's just not the culture. It just truly isn't,
That's
and
true.
and that's fine. And it's really funny because like, and I feel like they couldn't do like that's the thing I think that I also didn't like is that it's the Jersey mob, like not the New York rap mob, which is like classic, iconic.
Mhm.
So yeah, I just don't. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, when they did the miniseries, I thought originally they were pitching it as like a miniseries to see this, but then they kind of turned it into a movie as well. I
I like
think.
to do like a prequel series.
Yeah, because it was a prequel. It was like set in the 60s and the
Yeah.
70s. And that was really interesting if you know anything about history and the Newark riots. Did you ever happen to see the movie? Because I saw it when it came out. And I was just like, oh, this is really
No,
good.
I've been meaning to see it, and that might push me over the edge now since I'm doing the rewatch of the series. Yeah.
Yeah, once you get, I mean, honestly, it doesn't matter really how you watch it, but I did watch it before I started the rewatch, so it gives you like that
Ah.
context, that history. But like, I think it might, and next time I do my rewatch, probably in like another year or two, I'll probably do it at the end and see how it changes the experience.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so do you have like, I think season 3 without a doubt is like probably the best season. I
I'm
think
in
that
the
most people will agree.
I'm in the middle of it now, and it is pretty good.
But personally, I think my favorite season is like season 2. Like it's before everybody like starts getting whacked and like there's all that tension and you know,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because that was at the end of 2, Pussy gets killed.
yeah. Which I think he's like my favorite character, and then that's I'm like, oh, that left a bad taste in my. But you gotta do what you gotta do.
Well, yeah, I mean, he was a rat.
Exactly. Everybody turned out to be a rat though, bro.
I know.
And then it's like the psychiatrist thing is what probably really threw me. So like, I don't know, if you know, you know, right, about the mafia. They're like, oh, you can't eat pussy, you can't be a rat, and you definitely can't go to see a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
Right? You know? So
Oh
it's
my
just
god.
like, oh my god, they're breaking all the rules here.
That is the best scene. I laughed so hard when that scene when is it season 2? It's either 1 or 2 where Tony's on the golf course with Uncle Junior and a couple of guys, and he finds out, yeah, Uncle Junior was going down on his
Yep.
girlfriend.
And it's crazy because like I don't even remember like where I found it out, but that wasn't even Sopranos. I think it was like Nip Tucked or something like this. Yeah, this lady had to get surgery. So they took her like her her labia majora and put it on her mouth, and then she was like she was a smoke because it's the same skin, you know.
Yeah.
If you know, you know. But so like, and then like you're like, oh, you can't tell my husband because like you know he's a made guy. You know, you're not supposed to technically do that. So I was like, what? They're villains, just like Batman.
It seems like is that stereotype about half, half the male population. It's like, oh, the
I
mobsters.
don't know. Listen, as a guy, like to quote Cat Williams, but to turn it around, if you're a guy in 2024 and you're not satisfying your woman with your mouth, I can't believe they still make that model. You're a dinosaur, baby.
Mhm.
Why don't you go become fossil fuel?
Oh my.
Just saying.
Oh my.
Yeah, it was like lots of like these storylines are crazy.
I
But like
know.
so like if you kind of like know if you know quote unquote know and believe the culture like what's put out in popular media, you're like, huh, that's an interesting take on that. Yeah, definitely lots of interesting artistic choices.
What about that weird one where like when Christopher was trying to write the screenplay and stuff, and it's like, oh, here's Jean Favreau as himself. Here's
Listen, we don't talk bad about Jean Favreau. We
oh no,
love
no.
Jean Favreau in this house.
The whole storyline
We're
just
trying to
seemed.
get him at DC in this house. No offense, James Gunn.
Oh, I'd love an interview, but I'm just saying, Janine Garofalo as herself.
Gotta love it.
Although that storyline had Alicia Witt, and I will never complain about
Exactly.
Alicia Witt.
Can't ever complain about that. Also, like, you know, I don't know, like the whole gay thing in season 6 at the gay club, and then like the whole coma thing. It's just like, oh god, now we're getting into hack territory.
I just wonder if people were like off doing other things because like when Christopher gets shot, and then he's like seems like he's out for a while.
Adriana getting so
Yeah.
sad. I just want to cry. Yeah, no, this was messed up. It's like, why'd you make me care? Like, I honestly though, I could have really done without the wife and kids. Like, if we would have just focused. But then that's actually what like really makes you kind of like feel bad for Tony.
Well, yeah, too, and I think it's like, he'd be completely off the rails with it, if he was just able to bang who he wants, and
I mean, they still many guys do what they want. They do what they want. Yeah, put up with a little guff. You know, you buy her a diamond bracelet and you shut her f up. You know.
well, I think that was some of the appeal though to the show, where it's like, oh yeah, he's just
He
he's
has panic.
he's a
That's
father.
a laugh, but it's the whole premise of that, and like for him to go to a psychiatrist for panic attacks, I appreciate it. I commend it. Instead of just popping Xannies, he's actually trying to work out his issues. I commend that. That's
Well,
crazy that it takes a bad guy like that to be like, hey, mental health is important. Isn't that wild?
yeah, he was passing out. So
That is wild though. Like when you look at it, like the landscape and like how we even in the 90s we really didn't talk about mental health, and it takes a guy like Tony Soprano to bring it to the forefront.
and then they tied it in where it's like, yeah, it was like the smell of like food and like grilling meat was bringing it back because when he
Yeah.
was a kid he saw his father in the butcher shop like cut a guy's finger off.
Yeah.
That's the other thing between the mother and then the father. He literally saw the father like disfiguring somebody.
Yeah. I did like also I don't think I ever really liked David Chase's work too much. Like he did like The Night Stalker, Switch, Rockford Files. Oh my god, I hated the Rockford Files. Anytime my grandparents would turn that on, I'd be like, you know what? I don't want to stay up. I'm gonna go to bed. Northern Exposure, I'll fly, like every single thing he did, I hated up until this point. I'm just gonna be real with you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're mentioning this list. I'm just like,
Exactly. So you're like, for him to come from that 20 years of doing that kind of work to doing The Sopranos
Well,
is wild.
maybe all that was honing his skills. You know, who knows? Or maybe it just takes the right premise. You know.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like I understand you got to pay the bills. I get it. Network TV is slop. I get it. I get it. But so yeah, that was another thing that kind of made me hesitant. So
Yeah. I'm trying to.
could you imagine if this was on Fox? I don't know if you remember that one show with was it Jay Moore? Where it was like they were trying to like, or was it the other guy? Was it Steve Zahn's brother or something, or James Caan's son or something? It was one of those shows on Fox where they were really pushing the limits and they were like trying to get away with as many curse words. He was like this agent. So and it was like around that same year between like 1997 and like 2000, they were like kind of pitching these really weird shows, right? They're like trying to push the limit because it's like, oh, we're Fox, we always push the envelope, and so I know that the Sopranos got pitched to Fox originally. Isn't that crazy?
Oh yeah, that's even like I think they said The Walking Dead originally was pitched to NBC or something.
Oh, I could see that, but they would have butchered it.
Oh wait,
It
that's
wouldn't have made it past halfway through season 1 on
well, that's what
NBC,
they were
babes.
saying between the writing and just like the graphic violence. They couldn't show half of what they show on AMC.
I didn't think it was that graphic. It's zombies. Who cares?
Yeah, but it's like like you get like every so often like some
Well,
blood,
Michonne was
zombies chewing on meat.
If you don't want to know where your food comes from, kids, no.
Oh my!
For the greatest people.
Oh.
I don't know what started coming apart in season 4. I mean, I guess, and this is one of those shows that also you felt like nobody was safe. Hell, in the end, we find out even Tony wasn't safe, right?
Well, is that what that ending means?
Absolutely. If you have media literacy.
Well,
so we see the show through Tony's eyes, right?
Yeah. Well, yes.
We see the guys come in. We don't see what happens to him, but basically we hear everything goes black. We hear nothing. He's dead, guys. He's dead. That's what that means. There's no ambiguity to it whatsoever.
Well, I mean,
even when the show ended, everybody was having like throwing a fit about it. I'm like, babes, are y'all okay? Are the Gen X and Boomer people okay?
Hey, man, they wanted all their heroes and anti-heroes to live forever.
Well, you can. That's the beauty of an anti-hero. You definitely can't live forever.
Oh yeah.
He was doing way too much messed up stuff at the end. Like we see the guy. So we see the premise. If you're paying attention, right at the end of the very in the series finale, you're seeing the setup. The guy's coming in. The rope's closing in on him. You know, he's very nervous. He's watching the door. Things are getting ratcheted up to 11, and then boom, nothing. Yeah, he's gone, guys. No need to call HBO and say, "Hey, my TV show cut out." Like, what the hell? Like that. And I'm just like, yeah, old people aren't okay. That's what I realized.
Well, you're saying media literacy. I'm telling you, there were so many people who like didn't get it, or didn't want to get it.
But the fact that they were playing Journey, I was like, are you freaking serious right now? Of all songs, this is why I hate that song. Like, I cannot listen to that song for that reason, though.
Don't stop.
It's just like, oh my god, that and because Glee covered it terribly. Like, just leave Journey alone. Leave it to Journey, guys.
Well, I mean, is that the ironic tone?
It is.
It's like "Don't Stop Believing." Then all of a sudden,
that was the biggest troll I'd seen in a long time. Is all that I can say. I was like, oh my god, they totally trolled y'all. And then poor Meadow can't even parallel park. That was the most stressful part of the episode for me, if I'm being honest. I'm like, oh my god, Meadow.
You live in Jersey and you can't parallel park.
Exactly. Hello?
Oh, she's a mafia princess. Come on.
All the more reason to know how to parallel park. Get in and get out, babes. Get in and get out.
Hey-o.
Actually, you shouldn't even parallel park. You should be You should be backing into your spot so you can get the hell out of there quick, actually, now that I think about it. But yeah, she did. If you live anywhere in the burbs, you got to know how to parallel park.
Mm.
Lest you be like me and just circle the parking lot until you find the perfect spot. Parallel parking is way too stressful for me. I'm sorry, it is.
I thought that's why you dated, just so you'd have someone to drive you in the park.
I don't trust other people anymore driving me, actually.
Anymore?
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. You've had many accidents.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, like I said, season 3 is definitely the best, but it's not my favorite. I think season 2 is my favorite because that's like right before like everybody starts dying.
Oh yeah.
My least favorite was Uncle Junior. I absolutely hated that man. Then Tony's mom came along, and then she became the absolute villain.
Oh yeah.
And I just wanted him and the psychiatrist to bang, to be honest. She wasn't good at her job anyway. You might as well violate some more rules.
Damn.
She was a terrible psychiatrist. Terrible.
Oh,
I love the actress though. Shout out to Lorraine.
Oh yeah.
And it's such a shame that Edie Falco really didn't get the spotlight because if you watch Nurse Jackie, baby, Edie Falco is that girl. But they really didn't let her shine in The Sopranos at all.
Mm.
Yeah, Nurse Jackie is so damn good.
Hmm.
She's like really the only one that went on to really do anything. I think Nurse Jackie went on for like five seasons or something like that on Showtime.
I'm trying.
They say the show's supposed to be a black comedy. Really? I didn't find anything comedic, let alone black comedic levels worth, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it really did bug me because you could, you could tell Uncle Junior and the mother were supposed to be the bad guys, so it's but
like I know people like that in real life. That's the crazy thing. So I was just like, this is based on somebody he knows. David Chase had a vendetta. that is some personal storytelling. Is all I'm saying.
I mean, not to annoy anybody, but who annoyed me was his character annoyed me. Christopher sometimes.
Oh yeah, Christopher was annoying. Like he is he was that next generation that really didn't get it. Like everything, in any like true like how do I want to put it? Like artisan craft, right? When you're passing down your trade from generation to generation, each generation loses something. No matter how good the master taught the apprentice, right? Every generation loses something. And then like in the 90s, like we were starting to be like, all you could want to be is famous because there are no wars, there is nothing. There's recession. There was like 2 recessions and, probably 3 in Christopher's lifetime. We didn't really have much to look for. I mean, he started writing the screenplay. That's my whole point, right? That's that generation. It's like, well, I got nothing else to do. Might as well be famous.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of wanting to be, a legitimate businessman,
And then those 2 guys who work.
Everybody, he just wants an easy, sweet life,
Yeah. Then the 2 guys who worked for him ended up shooting him.
Exactly. He doesn't have a discernment of people's spirit. That like you gotta have that in that business. And Tony lost it, at the same time. Pills do dull your senses. They do. So yeah, it was just really interesting character dynamics that I saw in the show, and just like I never really quite understood what they were trying to say with the show. Honestly, it was just very confusing.
Do you think it was? There was a message, or is it just life?
Well, I mean, every show has a message. It's either it's cohesive or it isn't. You know what I mean? Like season 1, it has a cohesive message. Season 2, and like even season 3 has a pretty cohesive message. But everything after season 3 just kind of goes downhill, and everything's just kind of done for shock value, I feel. And that's how you're kind of at the tail end of the show, right? When everything's kind of just like you killed off your most popular characters, right? And you're just like doing whatever for the ratings.
Yeah, but is it
like chasing your tail?
But with anything, with like a crime drama like this, it's like no matter how long you're riding high on the hog, eventually it's going to come crashing down.
Not if you're good at it. Well, I mean, in real life, look at everybody in Congress. I'm just saying.
Ooh.
Shout out to the Senate.
Yeah,
and so that doesn't ring true to real life for me. and actual practical application, that's not true at all. People get away with it every day for years. I mean,
Oh,
there's no reason people should be billionaires
do we-
still.
I
Generational
know.
wealth, yeah, a crime happened. Whether it's slavery or bootlegging, a crime happened, okay, to have that kind of money.
So yeah, yes, those criminals, they like that promiscuous hooligan Lauren Boebert.
Nothing to get wet about anyway.
Oh,
There's nothing to get wet about
yeah.
it.
And that's another thing, like no tea, no shade to the show, right? It was like not a lot of conventionally attractive people on the show, except for Adriana, obviously. The actress that played Meadow was cute, but like that it wasn't like I'm a '90s kid, a 2000s kid, CW kid, where everybody's cute, even the tech guy. You know what I mean?
I mean, Meadow wasn't bad. Come on.
But like comparatively to say like a Christina Applegate, like comparatively, I'm saying. So it's just like she looks like every girl I know in Jersey.
Yeah,
Absolutely, that's not doing the schnooky. Absolutely, she looks like every girl.
but I mean, was that the realistic take that not every woman is going to be a supermodel?
Yeah, that's why I just wasn't initially drawn to it. I was just like, these are too normal. These people look too normal. I mean,
Okay.
it's not the Bundys.
I know. Okay, well, here's the point.
Although Katie Sagal can and could get it anytime.
Mm-hmm. Hey, okay, here's a point I saw recently online, and I'm just like, really? The kids don't get it. I don't know if someone was doing a rewatch and they're just like, but how unattractive. They're like, I don't remember the strippers being so unattractive. I'm like,
have you seen? Oh no, now that is a real thing. No offense to my Jersey strippers, which y'all can barely call your go-go dancers, glorified go-go dancers. You don't even get to see a nipple in Jersey, to be real with you. So,
well, in the show you did, but I'm just like, wait a minute,
yeah.
But I'm like, weren't they always there? Well, at least in the early seasons during the day. I'm like,
day shift. Honestly, somebody's not a connoisseur of strip clubs to not know that.
The day shift. Yeah, you don't want. It's like
you're gonna see a bullet hole. To quote the other guy, you're gonna see a bullet hole, some C-section scars.
It's like Dwight told Daryl in the office when he wanted to go into a strip club on a Monday morning. He's like, no. He's like, you don't want to go in there. You can't unsee that.
You'll never recover. Yeah.
You can't unsee that.
Shout out to my daytime strippers. Y'all know I love you. Gotta support those single mothers, man. Leave them alone.
Oh my, that's right.
Leave them alone. Yeah, but like it just does lose some coherence, and it just feels like everything was for shock factor after a while. That's it. But that's how a lot of HBO shows, except for Deadwood. Deadwood, you are fucking perfect. You are fucking perfect. More people should watch Deadwood.
The first time ever, Lilith will extol the virtues of Deadwood.
The only time. Go do the tour. It's awesome. I'm just saying. Now that was the Wild West. Anyway, yeah. I was like, after a while, they had killed off everybody that I knew and loved, and so I was just like, whatever.
Well, like towards the end, like you're talking about it, what's like, is that the problem with like when you write the first couple seasons so good, and then every year you just like, how do we top this? How do we top this? And eventually you just got to go crazy. Yeah.
I will say one of the best episodes does come in the last season, and it's Soprano home movies. Oh, it's so good. It's episode 13 of season 6, and that one just sticks out in my mind. It was so good, so good. I was just like, oh, you still had a little in you. It's that party with Phil Leotardo.
Oh yeah.
He like and then he's like returned from the hospital because of his heart attack, and then they have that flashback. In the woods with Johnny Sack being arrested by the FBI. That episode just. Yeah, they still had it in them, but it had to go. They went out right on time, honestly. And what's crazy is like the ratings were so like wild from like the first season only had like I think the premiere had like 3.5 million people, and then like the series finale season finale of season 1 had like 5.25 million people watching. And then I think I am right. I'm pretty sure that season 3 was the highest rated I know it was like in the 11 millions and ended around in the 9 millions.
Hey, did you ever watch Talking Sopranos?
No,
Okay.
not at all.
I was just looking on.
Like no offense to those people, and especially no offense to you, Will Wheaton. I do not like after show or what's that Chris Hardwick or that? Yeah, Chris Hardwick.
Oh
No
yeah.
offense. I don't like the corporate after shows. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't think they're doing the Chris Hardwick thing anymore.
Yeah, they probably not. But like, yeah, I just don't like that corporate thing. I just feel like it's too polished. You're never really gonna get the truth. You'll get like, oh yeah, that was a deleted scene. Like, babes, I know I own the Blu-rays, babe. You don't have to tell me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You famous people, leave us something to do.
Yeah, exactly. Famous people leave podcasting alone. Leave it alone.
Leave it
Unless you're
alone.
Cat Williams. Cat Williams, you can have a podcast.
Leave it
Monique,
alone.
you can have a podcast.
Leave it alone or hire us. Come on.
Now, I really honestly wouldn't want to be in the corporate podcast network. It's disgusting. No offense to like all the professional podcast networks.
Well, you're probably censored too, because they'll tell you don't do that. Don't talk about this, or
Yeah, I don't like being on a leash.
Can you imagine? They'd be like, no dick jokes. Like,
That's our bread and butter.
I know. Can you imagine?
I think like the whole thing too about me, it's just like the casual racism.
Oh yeah.
It's just like, ooh, like I just be going about my day and I'd be like, oh yeah, never mind. I'll come back to this later.
I mean, it's true
to life, but still,
yeah.
like sometimes you just don't want to deal with it. It just dead smack in the middle of the episode, like just caught me off guard. Every single what? It's like, oh yeah, my side piece is black. That's why I don't bring her around. He's gonna give me shit, man. I'm just like, okay, we'll be back.
Or Meadow dating the black guy. Yeah.
One thing about watching like certain ththings, sometimes just like, oh yeah.
But again, it's like everyone got hit from all sides, because then there are people who be like, oh yeah, those Italians. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but it's just so funny because like it just happened just so randomly. You'd be like, oh yeah.
Well, that's like I just watched the episode. And I'm surprised there wasn't a warning or anything, even just like after the fact during these days, where it's like Dr. Melfi's rape. It's just like, I mean, they got pretty graphic there. So I'm like, wow, I'm surprised they didn't do a warning or something.
Like I said, the 90s did not give a fuck about your mental health.
No.
Trigger warnings for flashing lights, bro.
If any of you youngins time travel, yeah, but you're not.
No, things that would put Gen Alpha in a coma. The Sopranos, yes.
You're not prepared for the 90s, kids. You're not.
Oh, don't even get me started on the 80s. Do not. Whatever you do, don't go back to the 80s, Gen Alpha. If you ever get a time machine, you don't want to go to the 80s. 70s were even worse, but a little more fun because everybody's doing cocaine and disco. Disco is the music everyone can dance to, okay? Everyone.
Well, the 60s.
As long as you're fueled by cocaine.
Well, the 60s and 70s, they were all having fun. And everyone was just doing each other,
Well, no, that was a very actually small fringe cultural movement. And you actually had to like live in a big city center. It's not like how they make you, or you had to live out in the woods in the middle of nowhere. It was like no in between. The hippie movement was actually a psyop. I'm not gonna get into it, but if you know, you know. Hippies are not real. They turned into yuppies. That's how you know they're not real.
Well, we know what's happening in the country. Howdy, y'all. Nom 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 nom.
And hippies were out buying guns. I'm just saying, guys. If you actually know that hippies aren't real. Anyway.
Oh my.
Just like birds.
There's another episode. We just need to do the Lilith Hellfire conspiracies.
Oh, that is absolutely a Patreon. Hey, patrons, if you're listening, you want a little conspiracy hour with Lilith Hellfire? Phil can just kind of wrangle me like a cat. I have so many. And I actually didn't like the depiction of how the FBI. I guess they really actually couldn't show how they were doing it. Especially after like 9/11, they actually could have arrested Tony so easily. They could have just called him a terrorist. That was the wild thing to me. I'm just like, what are you doing? Rico was real. Anybody can catch a Rico charge, even mayors, even presidents. So like, you guys are just really bad at your job. Actually, I thought those those FBI agents were terrible at their job.
Oh yeah, they couldn't place a lamp in the basement.
Seriously, bro. Like, they phones, you know how easy like, oh my god. Like FISA before 9/11, FISA warrants were a thing that were like superseded a lot of our civil rights that nobody knew about. I'm just saying, like, I guess they didn't really want to dig into the law too much of it, or everything falls apart really. But yeah, that whole season that they focused on the FBI, they were so bad at their job. It annoyed me so much.
I
It was
know.
stressing me out. I was like, just shoot them, just shoot them.
I love when the mom was in the nursing home and then Tony and all the guys started having their meetings there.
Yeah, smart. You gotta be smart.
I don't know. Eventually, the FBI bugged out too. So
Eventually, it took them long enough. That tracks. That tracks like the FBI. Not post 9/11 FBI, but the FBI, they're a little slow in the uptake sometimes.
oh my god! But I love that scene with Uncle June and Tony on this golf course down south of the border.
Let's see. Members Only was a great season opening for season 6. Michael Imperioli wrote an episode, or did he write one more than one? I think he wrote a couple of episodes. I thought that was very interesting that they let him get that under his belt. There were not episodes that I liked, except for the one where he had a little help. The Christopher story actually is the one that he wrote. From season 4. Do you remember that episode? Season 3 of episode 3 of season 4.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, and it's about when Silvio wants to take action against the indigenous people protesting the Columbus Day parade. Oh my God, the history of the Columbus Day is so. Oh my God, they're like, here, shut up, Italians, have Columbus. Like, what? Because for a while, Italians weren't considered white people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, y'all got a day just to shut you up. I mean, I guess so did the blacks. But, certain people that are, not alive anymore, but were alive very recently, did vote against it. I'm like, you're voting against the day. Like, Arizona still doesn't have Martin Luther King Day off. F in the chat for Arizona not having Martin Luther King Day off. But, like,
I don't
yeah, that was so funny. And it's like, babes, can't you see it from their point? I mean, Columbus wasn't even technically Italian, really.
I know.
So it's like, but yeah, it's that episode, and I just thought that was really funny. Yeah.
I don't care
But
what.
yeah.
If someone's willing to give me a day off with pay, I'll take it.
Exactly. Well, they could have kept Juneteenth, to be perfectly honest. I would have preferred legislation, but you get what you get.
Well, that's not going to happen, so might as well take the day off.
Yeah, exactly. Some really good directors too. What's kind of weird is that like David Chase really didn't do a lot. Like he didn't like write a lot of episodes. He didn't direct a lot of episodes. I find that very, very interesting. They had Steve Buscemi direct an episode, if you didn't know. And I love Steve Buscemi. I don't know if y'all know that about me. He's like Pete Davidson before Pete Davidson was Pete Davidson. If you know, you know. Young Steve Buscemi can absolutely get it. Also, young Adam Sandler, ironically enough, if you heard that recent Adam Sandler rant.
Oh my!
Yeah, it was season 3, like towards the tail end. I want to say like either like 11 or 12. And I was just like, that's interesting. And then they had longtime Lost collaborator Jack Bender directing. He's an excellent TV director. Has a very, very great eye. I could always tell when it was his episode without even looking, because it's he has a very distinct directorial voice. So those tend to be my favorite episodes. He gets really the most out of actors, honestly. Tim Patton wasn't bad either, to be honest. They had a pretty good solid roster of writers and directors, I'd say.
Yeah.
Even though I heard HBO actually didn't really pay that much to their writers back in the day.
Have they ever? I was gonna say, have they ever?
But yeah, it's like the prestigious a network. It's always been prestigious to have HBO show.
Oh yeah, put it on your resume.
Even more so than Showtime or cinema. Like that's the place you wanted to be back in the day if you were a true creative with a vision that network TV wasn't ready for.
Oh yeah.
So it's just always really shocking to me that they still writers have never really been paid that much. So it's like, why do y'all want to do it then?
I guess for the resume, I guess.
Yeah, we all got to start somewhere, right? And they know that. Do you have a favorite episode?
Like I said, it's hard for me to remember half of them because I'm not even done with my rewatch. But hold on, let me look. Why? What's your favorite?
Oh, I have a lot. I don't even know where to start. Like honestly, like a lot of them are like kind of clumped together and stuff. But like
Oh yeah.
Marco Polo from season 5. You got the Test Stream. That's also season 5. Oh, the Knight in White Satin Armor from season 2.
Yes.
And that was directed by Alan Taylor, who did the Many Saints of Newark, and you can see the vision, right? It's a very slow burn, but I like that episode a lot. Employee of the Month. That's a Dr. Melfi episode for sure. And yeah, Pine Barrens, Steve Buscemi's episode. Watch Boardwalk Empire.
Yes, that's another good show.
So dang good.
That's where I first saw Charlie Cox. Yes.
Yeah. Charlie's what now?
Hey.
He's got that. I love that for Charlie though. He's got the little like alliteration. Oh, you're already like a little miniature comic book character, aren't you?
Oh yeah. I mean, I keep seeing the behind the scenes pictures for Daredevil Born Again.
Yeah. Oh, a really good season 1 episode is College. It's episode 5.
Is that
where Meadows touring the colleges? And,
yeah, Tony and her. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, this is cute. They really didn't do enough of that. Like, poor Junior, right? Like he just that son, he was a mess. He was a mess in real life too, though. So.
I love Junior. I love how Tony just sets him up as the head. Basically, he could take the fall for everybody.
Well, I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. I mean, he didn't have too many years left, right?
I know. I'm like, you're that old.
That's a real thing, right? But like, usually they know about it, so you gotta take care of them when they're in prison. But it's like, man, she got like maybe 1.5 good years left.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I know my episodes because those stick out. Like I said, like a lot of it is very it's mundane actually. Like like until they're like driving around doing hits and stuff, like it's very mundane, and I think that was like the beauty of it for a lot of people, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very stark contrast against the Scorsese wise guy era, like the Ray Liotta's and whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
But again, that's why we're doing Jersey, to do something a little different, to do the trash delivery stuff,
Oh yeah.
So yeah, waste disposal management. I find that really funny because that's a real thing. It's kind of like how everybody. It's an open secret that most master stores are money laundering schemes. Most storage unit places, money laundering schemes. But they provide a service when you need it. Oh, I probably just blew somebody's mind about the storage unit thing, but
oh my god, there's
again,
one.
If you want conspiracy time, I'll give it to you, but that's gotta be behind a paywall. I don't want them to come and lock me up.
Oh my god, there was one near here where it used to be like a motel, and they just turned all the rooms into storage units.
Money to be made, just not in the actual storage.
What's in those storage units?
You don't want to know and don't ask. You ever notice that they stopped doing those Storage Wars shows? I'm just saying.
Oh my.
Don't fall down the rabbit hole like I did. It's bad.
Really?
Yeah. I just find it fascinating that everybody's dad that I knew growing up, like, like, oh my God, he's like, they literally made a man cave to watch the show. It was just really wild. It was like a wild phenomenon.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. At least 10 of my friends are like, yeah, he's just like, now he's down in the basement every Sunday and like he can't be late. you know, we can't talk to him when his show's on. He's like, my mom with her soap operas already. It was definitely a soap opera for men. It's like either your dad watched Sopranos or wrestling. Like I think those are the two.
Yeah.
My era of dad TV.
Yeah. Be quiet. I might miss this week's scene.
If you had it bad, he watched both.
Yeah. Shut up! I don't want to miss this week's scene with boobs and.
I mean, now it's all boobs. No, it is, unfortunately. Well, we have to talk about. You know what? The episode that we were looking forward to cover, we should cover what's going on with Vince McMahon and the WWE.
Okay.
Yeah, it's don't tell your dad. Don't let him watch the news. It's bad.
Okay.
But he's always been a weirdo to me.
No,
it's crazy though. Nobody kind of went on. Yeah.
I just remembered when I watched it with him. It's like with my when I was a kid, like Vince McMahon was like normal size. Then like years later, he'll come back. He's like all jacked up. It's like, whoa, what happened?
Roids, baby.
Oh yeah.
It's like, didn't you have Hogan lie to Congress about steroid use in the WWF? Didn't you? Now look at you. I'm just saying, yeah, it's very funny. But I just find it really funny. I remember Jimmy Lynn Sigler. Yeah.
Sigler, yeah.
She tried to go like become a singer. Remember that? Do you remember that?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, somebody told me that she used to play Cinderella. And then she also did Belle, Beauty and the Beast right after the show ended.
Huh.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting, but I remember she tried to have like a singing career very briefly. And I can't think of the name of the damn song now. I hope I'm not confusing her with another person. No. Here to Heaven. I'm absolutely right. And then she had those weird she had like weird music video roles too. She was in that Mariah Carey video. And she was in that Lonely Island one, Jizz in My Pants. I don't know if you remember.
Bro, what?
Yeah, you don't. That song from like 2008, Jizz in My Pants by the Lonely Island. She's like the checkout girl in that music video. I was just like, oh damn, Jamie.
Oh my lord! I found her album Here to Heaven.
Yeah.
The first song, Bada Bing.
Yes. Okay, like I thought it was literally. I thought I was like hallucinating it for a second. I had to think about it. She was on like that CSI Cyber show too, in an episode. Like she did not really do well for herself after the show. That's such a shame. I thought she was a pretty good actress in some of the other stuff, not necessarily Sopranos, but the other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then like I don't think anybody else really went on to do anything. Like what happened to Michael Imperioli?
I mean, he showed up for like what was that, like a 3 or a little bit.
He was in the Many Saints in Newark.
He was in a few episodes of Law and Order. Do you remember when Jesse Martin's character got shot and like while he was out for a couple episodes? Yeah,
I thought he hallucinated that too, to be quick.
Yeah, no. He was in there, no.
He was in this really weird show that I saw a while ago.
I just wonder, is he more of a
or something?
I don't know.
He's typecast for sure, right?
Yeah, and is he like a more behind the scenes guy? Is he like directing and stuff?
Is he?
I don't know.
I don't think he is.
No?
I don't think so.
Well, he was doing that Talking Sopranos.
That doesn't really count though, does it?
I don't know.
Oh, when it's the same show on the same network, I don't think it counts. No offense. He was in Goodfellas though. It's a tiny little role. He was.
Oh yeah,
I remember that.
Go get your shine box. Yeah.
Shark Tales. No. He was in Shark Tales. Now it's coming to me. Oh, and he was just, you know what? The show that I'm thinking of, he was just in was The White Lotus, which, if you have not seen that, I prefer season 1 to season 2, but they're both great. But he's in season 2 of White Lotus. That is the show that I was thinking of. He was actually really good. He was playing a smarmy, cheating scumbag, so I think he is typecast.
Oh my! In 2022, he did a voice for Marvel's Wastelanders Black Widow.
That's not real Marvel money, but shout out to him.
Oh, he's gonna do a voice in Kite Man. Hell yeah!
Oh, poor thing. Yeah, like Lauren Bracco, she didn't go on to really do too much either after Sopranos.
Well, she was in some of those movies before, you know.
She did Lipstick Jungle, which was pretty good. But she was only like 2 episodes. I think she was in Law and Order: Criminal Intent for an episode, if I remember right. I watched that show all the time.
I mean, she wasn't good.
Oh wait, was she? Oh, she was in Rizzoli Isles. What the hell am I talking about for 6 years? That was like literally from 2010 to 2016. So that took her like 5 years, 4 or 5 years to find something to do after The Sopranos. So, but no, yeah, now that I remember. And then she kind of really didn't go on to do anything else.
Mm.
I found that interesting because I thought she was a really good actress. And I feel like she had been in some made-for-TV movies previously or something, too. Like, I don't really know where she came from, but so I liked her character. She just wasn't actually a good psychiatrist, which there's a ton of really bad psychiatrists, right? Like, a ton. If you know, you know. A ton of bad therapists. Like, people just... Like, I feel like psychiatrists are just in it for the power trip, personally. Get yourself a psychologist, not a psychiatrist. You don't really need the drugs unless it's a true chemical imbalance. Just saying. They're just scamming you. They just want you in therapy for the rest of your life to drain up all your insurance money. Freud was a fraud. All I'm saying is they're based on the premise of psychiatry is based on Freud, who was a sham. Leave it at that. But yeah, and then who else was in there? Dominic. He went on to do Boardwalk Empire. The guy that played Junior Soprano.
Oh yeah.
And then Steven Van Zandt. I don't think he really went on to do anything except for that music thing that he does. That he was doing before The Sopranos. Oh, poor guy that played Big Pussy too.
Oh yeah.
Didn't he do I want to say he did like a commercial or something? A commercial for like maybe the General's auto insurance or something like that.
Maybe.
I shouldn't laugh because poor Jordana Brewster's in one too, and Chuck's been in one too. So I mean, they got some money to spend.
Oh yeah,
it's definitely not insuring your car though.
I mean, wasn't Shaq in some of this?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, Turdy Circle. I don't think he really went on to do anything either. He did. I want to say he played Vinny the dog, and when Brian died, and yeah. Not me being a Family Guy person bringing that up. I'm sorry. I have to work Family Guy into everything now, apparently.
Oh boy. Oh.
Yeah, overall, it's a solid show. I mean, I don't think that it holds up to today's standards, but nothing can really. You know what I mean? Like I said, it doesn't need to hold up. It was good for the time.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
It's definitely one of those shows doesn't hold up. Like I feel like, oddly enough, though, I feel like Breaking Bad holds up better than The Sopranos does.
Well, it's not as old too.
Yeah, true. But Mad Men doesn't hold up. It wasn't even holding up when it was airing, as far as I'm concerned. But
no, yeah. Well, that was a period.
It's really weird. Like,
was a period.
It's so cringy rewatching it for me. I'm just like, oh yeah, I hated that, didn't I? Like, I know, I think I missed all of season 5 or something like that, and I had to watch it on like the DVR or something like that. Because I was like, I'm done with this show for a while, and then I was like, oh shit, season 5's over. Let me unclog my DVR, shall I? But yeah, back in the day when I think the highest rated episode had like 13 million watchers. Network TV would kill for that.
Oh yeah.
Today, like
Any of
that
them
wasn't
would
even
kill
a
for that.
lot, honestly, back then.
Any of them would kill for that today.
Yeah, it's crazy how much like watching a show live is not a thing anymore.
Oh yeah, no.
But this was like event TV.
Oh
if
yeah.
if you had a Sopranos fan in your life, you know they had to be home by the time Get Yourself a Gun was starting, bro. Did you know DVRs really weren't that big of a thing back then?
Yeah, it was kind of on the cusp
I mean,
there.
like you have like TiVo, maybe if you're lucky, if you live in big market, your actual cable provider had a DVR for you, or you're recording on a VCR. No tea, no shade. I was the queen of that. I had me a little DVR and a DVD and a
VHS.
VHS
Yep. Oh,
combo.
yep.
Yeah. Record it off the TV, burn it onto the disc.
That's right.
To be a 90s kid.
You kids don't know the hoops we had to jump through.
I mean, everybody should honestly go back to analog. Like, they're not prepared for us to go back to analog. I'm just saying. They can't prevent us from doing anything with analog. You gotta own your physical media, man. By any means necessary.
Exactly. All right.
Yeah, but I just have to say, like, I think the realest thing that happened in Sopranos is that by the end, everybody was either dead or a rat. Because that's just the nature of that business, right?
Oh yeah.
So I think that's pretty much the only thing that they got right. But it was a solid show, but it is not meant for. I would love to see them try to attempt to do a show like this though in the 2020s.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see what they come up with. I don't think it would be as good or as compelling.
Yeah, I mean,
everything's way too PC for that to actually be worth me wanting to watch it.
Yeah, it would have to be something kind of different.
He'd have to actually be a good family guy at that point. I think it would make it different, just different enough, to subvert the trope at that point, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why everybody loves Bob Burgers, because Homer and Peter are terrible dads, but Bob is actually genuinely a good dad. And so it subverts the old trope. They used to subvert the old trope of the father knows best.
Mm-hmm.
I think we swung all the way back to that at that point. Where, you see him taking his kid to school and then he whacks a guy. I think that's what we're looking at.
Yeah.
That's what this generation of Sopranos would almost have to be.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're at our time. So if you want to,
all right. So
because we got a whole nother show to do.
Yeah, I have another show to do. All right, I feel like we threw out a bunch of ideas, so maybe we'll wait, not announce what we're gonna do next time because I'm kind of confused now. All right, so
it's what I'm here for, Philly.
I know. All right, so yes, but send us all your Sopranos thoughts and your suggestions for upcoming episodes. Email us CapesandLunatics@gmail.com or call the voicemail 614 salty and petty 69@gmail.com.
Got 'em, boys.
salty and petty 69@gmail.com.
I do have, before we end, I have to put a little something in the chat. Just keep doing yours. You're fine.
All right. And again, of course, you can find all things Capes Lunatics episodes, social media, merchandise. Please help support us, buy some merch. I can make it rain on us randomly with cash, sacks of cash. Oh, yes. F the chat for Kindle Feeny. But yes, make it rain with the Cash App link.
Make it rain.
And of course, you can always subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll get something crazy, bonus content, exclusive content every month. And again, in 2024, it will be
more vicious and brutal than ever.
I think it's time for conspiracy time for March, maybe.
I love it.
Yeah, I think so. All right, so find it all in one place. That's tubespace.io/Capes and Lunatics Podcast Network. It's tubespace.io/Capes and Lunatics Podcast Network. All right, Liv Hellfire. You can find her on the Facebook, maybe.
Yeah, bring me on Facebook.
Complaining about all her TikTok notifications.
Yeah, it was bad. Like I told you, I just got back on TikTok and I looked at my notifications. You know how you look at your app and I'm just like, 10,000. What did I say? Who did I piss off? A lot of people just really liked my comment apparently. So
Oh my!
False alarm, false alarm. Usually when you have that many notifications, you've probably gone viral for a bad reason. So
Okay. Well, you do say some insightful things.
your mother's a whore. I just keep it real. I just keep it real. That's what's wrong with that's what's wrong with the world. Nobody keeps it real anymore.
Oh, that's true.
Don't pull it out unless you're going to use it. That's true for guns and penises.
Little Hellfire always leaving us with one to grill on. Hey. So yes, thank you for joining us. Maybe one of the 20 ideas you heard we might do next time, but come back. It's always entertaining.
This is me on no caffeine, ADHD, just running free. Sorry, guys.
Wow. All right, kids. Join us.
Same petty time.
Same salty time, same petty channel.
Either way.
Whatever. What we were trying to meant was.
End of story.
Forget about it. Hey.